Come on in. Come on in.
Okay.
How you doing?
Good.
Good, good.
Is this the right place?
I hope so. Here's for Wellness and Respite Center.
Yeah.
This is it. How
Yeah.
you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. What's your name?
Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
Hey.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So obviously it's your first time here, huh?
Yeah.
Well, welcome. Glad you're here. If you would sign in, that would be awesome. And for the next time that you come, the door is open.
Okay.
So you can just come on in. You don't have to knock or anything. Go ahead. You don't have to knock or anything. So I need to grab a couple of things.
Okay.
So you can come on in here and have a seat.
Okay.
And so Jamie, tell me how you heard about us.
Well, my therapist said that I really need to be doing stuff during the day. And so she told me I needed to come by here and check things out.
Oh yeah?
And so here I am. Because
Okay.
she told me to.
So what do you feel like you need to be doing things during the day, excuse me, or want to be doing things during the day?
I don't know. My therapist wants me to, so I guess, yeah.
Okay, I'm asking because one of the things that we really stress and that really matters to us is choice. We call it self-direction. And that is the idea that people have the right to live the life of their choosing. And so as far as participating here, people participate here because they want to and not because somebody is making them do something.
Oh,
And
okay.
so, you know, it is.
Even if it's in my best interest to come here?
Well, as far as we're concerned, you get to decide what's in your best interest, not somebody else, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, are you willing to hear about us?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me give you this packet of information. Basically, it has our general flyer, the activity schedule is in there. There's information about the Georgia Mental Health Consumer Network, which is our parent organization. Are you familiar with the Georgia Mental Health Consumer Network?
I've heard of them, and I was told that I could become a member.
Absolutely. We'd love for you to become a member.
Yeah?
Yeah, so there's the brochure is here.
Okay.
And
I noticed it.
we can just fill it out. It does talk about membership fee, $5, but you know, we can waive that. We'd love to have you be a member.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right,
Thank
cool.
you.
All right. So, like I said, we are a project of the Georgia Mental Health Consumer Network, and we are funded through a contract with the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. And so, the cool.
So when can we eat?
Well, we can, as far as food goes, we don't serve food on a daily basis, but people who come to participate are welcome to bring food, so you can have a lunch here, but it will be something.
But I
that
see
people
food on
can
that
bring.
table over there.
Well, I know you see that table of food over there.
I do.
And as soon as we get finished doing this, you can, you know, you're welcome to help yourself to the food.
Okay.
But let me just tell you that, you know, today we just happen to have some food that we're, you know, for the community, for the peers who come in, but on a daily basis we don't serve food. And so we, you know, invite you to bring lunch with you or whatever. There are occasions like today where we have food. On all holidays, we have food and, you know, play games and fellowship and everything, so it's always, that's a good time. So, I mean, on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Easter, what's coming up?
President's Day.
So let me tell you a few things about us, okay? We are a peer-run alternative or complement to traditional mental health services. So when I say we're peer-run, and we talk about the word peer, as in peer support, wellness, and respite, everyone who comes and participates here and everyone who works here is someone who self-identifies as living with some sort of mental health challenge. Now, some of us are what they call dually diagnosed. We have substance use issues in addition, but when we talk about peer, we're talking about those of us who live with some sort of mental health challenge. We're in recovery or, you know, whatever, but that is what qualifies you to be a part of the Wellness Center. Okay?
Okay.
everyone here is a certified peer specialist, and what that means again is that we're people we're living with some sort of mental health challenge, we're in recovery, and we've been trained and certified in doing peer support. What we do here is peer support, and we do it based on a model called intentional peer support. We call it IPS. And intentional peer support was created by a woman named Sherry Mead. And basically it's about building, maintaining, and negotiating relationships, relationships of mutuality. So you have people who, you know, kind of can identify with some of what you've been through. You know, you and I might talk and discover that we have, you know, a lot of things in common, and that maybe we've been through some similar experiences, and we can connect on that level, you know, different maybe than your therapist who told you to come over here. So, something about intentional peer support is that it's a trauma-informed model of doing peer support. Trauma-informed means that we are aware of and sensitive to the fact that most people who come here probably have experienced some trauma in their lives. We truly believe that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. And we work really hard to maintain an environment that's a non-threatening, non-triggering, comfortable place for, you know, you come and be. So that's something that's really, really, really important to us. And that whole thing about respect. Let me tell you about what we do here.
Okay.
We are able to do peer support in 3 different ways. So the first thing that I'll talk to you about is what we call our warm line, and it's a telephone line. It gives you the opportunity to get peer support over the telephone. And you know, it can be, we call it the warm line just because, you know, you don't have to necessarily be in some big crisis situation. You just want to talk. You know, a lot of times folks just don't have anybody to listen to them or to talk to. And so that's what we're here for. And like I mentioned before, we do have 5 centers. So we have actually 5 different warm line numbers, you know, that you can use during the day to get support over the telephone. And it's a 24-hour service, so, you know, if you can't sleep and you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you want to talk to somebody, you can call and there'll be somebody there to talk to.
Okay.
So
I like that. I'm going to use that.
Excellent. And there's, in the packet, the phone numbers are in there. Something else just for me to tell you about is that with the warm line, we are partnered with the Georgia Crisis and Access Line.
I've heard of them.
Okay, so the way that works is if you call us and, you know, we talk, and during the course of the conversation, you know, it's pretty clear that you are really intending to harm yourself or harm somebody else, then we would offer to transfer you over to the Georgia Crisis and Access Line, because they're more equipped to deal with crisis of that nature than we are. And then with them, if you call them and it's not a crisis situation, then they're going to transfer you over to us. And so that's the way the partnership works.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay. All right, so another way that we provide peer support is through our daily wellness activities. You might be familiar with groups.
Yeah, I saw a schedule in here.
Yeah, so we have what we call daily wellness activities, and we call them wellness activities because for us, our focus is on wellness and not illness. And you see, you know, by the different activities that we have things like creative writing.
What is issues in mental health? What's that?
Issues in mental health is an opportunity to talk about, like we were talking about medication and, you know, coming off of medication, or, you know, to stay on it, come off, that kind of thing. That would be something, because that's a huge topic, you know, for people living with mental health challenges.
Yeah.
You know, that medication creates issues, and so we don't do like medication management and those kind of traditional groups, but we do something like issues in mental health, where people can talk about the things that affect you or affect the mental health community as a whole, like the issues and concerns. It could be about legislation that's being passed. It could be about practices that happen, you know, in the mental health system and things like that. So we got our warm line, we got our wellness activities. The third thing that we do here is we have what we call respite. The idea of respite is it was conceived as an alternative to psychiatric hospitalization. We consider it to be a preventative tool. And the idea is that, you know, it gives you the opportunity to be here in this peaceful place and to be around peers, to be around people who aren't going to judge you in any way. You know, we're here to support you. And hopefully those 7 days, if you stayed up to 7 days, hopefully the time that you stay would give you what you need to avoid kind of the downward spiral and going into a crisis and ending up in the hospital. There's one thing that you have to do before you can be considered for respite, and that is a proactive interview. It takes like maybe 30 minutes or so to do. And basically, it's, you know, we have a conversation. We have some questions that we ask. We have a conversation. It's an opportunity for us to continue building the relationship. And so you get to know, you know, one of the staff people here a little better. They get to know you better. And it helps us get an idea of what kind of support you might need, you know, while you're in respite. All right, so the next thing I want to do is just show you around the house.
Okay.
And then after we see the house, then there's a couple of pieces of paperwork, real minimal paperwork to do. And once that's done, then you'll be eligible. You can start to participate. You can start coming to activities. You can use the computers that we have available, those things. And then, like I said, for respite, then we'll need to go ahead and do a proactive interview, and then that'll be something else. Living room. We do some activities in here from time to time. The television basically is for the respite guest, and it's for on the weekends. The way it's set up is that when you come Monday through Friday, we're not able to have people just come and hang out. So you're here actually doing something, which would be either using the computers or participating in an activity. So then at 6 o'clock in the evenings, when the center closes, because we're open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for daily participation. So at 6 o'clock, the house is closed to the public, and respite guests have the opportunity to relax, watch TV, do whatever. And then on the weekends, like I said, you can come hang out. We do fun and games on the weekends. We do sports on Sunday. Just the other week, we had a big Super Bowl party and everything. So that's the kind of stuff we do in here. This is beautiful dining room space for people to eat. People come in and set up computers because I like to eat. But this is where all the cooking happens. Something to make a note of is like you see the food on the table, and again, like I said earlier, you know, we happen to be having food for everybody today, but it's not what we do on a regular basis. But when we do it, it's some good food. And so if you're not in respite, the kitchen is basically for the respite guests. So if you're not in respite, you know, we ask people to kind of, you know, stay out of the kitchen. On out here, out back is our smoking area. And when the weather permits, you know, we might do our activities out here just because it's so nice, you know. And we can't wait for it to warm back up so we can start doing barbecues and things like that. So we have a washer and dryer there. That's so respite guests can do laundry while they're here. We you know, people can do up to 3 loads of laundry while they're here. Here's a restroom right here. And then this is one of our respite rooms. And you can go in and see how nice it is. I know it's much better than a hospital for sure. this is the computer area. We have 3 computers that folks can use for up to an hour at a time. If nobody is waiting to use the computer, then you feel free to stay on the computer. We won't ask you to get off the computer, just because it's been an hour. And we do have here a sign-in sheet. So if you're going to get on the computer, we ask that you sign in. That way we can keep up with the time. And each computer, they're just numbered. So computer 1, 2, 3, we just sign in according to the name or the number of the computer. All right, so like I told you, I'm glad that you like the house. I think it's pretty.
It's very pretty.
Awesome.
It looks like a little hobbit house.
A little hobbit house. Very cool.
Yeah.
It is, I think it's very cute and cozy.
It's very cute.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned to you before, we have a couple of little pieces of paperwork to do. Do you have a photo ID?
I didn't bring it with me. I thought I brought it with me, but I didn't bring it with me.
Okay, that's okay. Will you bring it the next time you come?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is a little contact information I need to get. So, so you can bring your photo ID. So I need your social security number.
I don't want to tell you my social security number.
Okay. This is not a problem. We don't have to have it. It helps us with. It allows us to get some extra money to keep
Oh,
the place
okay.
going.
That's important to me because I want this place to keep going.
Well, thank you. So.
770 445 5798. Wait, that's my phone number.
And then these 4 questions, they might sound a little strange. We ask them just because the state pretty much requires that we ask them. And it really is about demographics. Like, are we reaching the people? Are we serving the people that, I guess basically that need our services? Are we reaching the people who really need the services? And so the first question, has there ever been a time when you were frequently admitted or readmitted into the hospital?
Yes.
Okay. Has there ever been a time that you've been in and out of homelessness?
Nope.
That's a yes for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I'm not homeless anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah, so thank God.
I wouldn't want to wish that on anybody.
Yeah, it's not any fun.
No.
Has there ever been a time you made frequent trips to the emergency room?
No.
Okay. And have you ever had the occasion to be released from jail? No. See, that's a yes for me too.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Hey, getting out is a good thing.
Yeah, that's the only good thing.
Yep. Okay, so that's that. And then the last thing that we'll go over are our daily participation guidelines. And I'll give you one of these so you can read along with me if you like. The first thing says self-identification. People who come to the peer support and wellness center.
Can I read it?
Well, yeah, you can read it out loud.
No, I just want to read it to myself when I go home.
Okay. I mean, you can take a copy with you, but
Okay.
it's just, this is so important. This is kind of like our deal with each other. Basically, you can know what to expect from us, and you know what we expect from you as far as how this place operates. And everybody who participates here, if they choose to participate, everybody is in on this agreement. Okay?
Okay.
And so, sometimes we get people, basically, I know when people just stick something in front of my face and say, sign it, I sign
I'm ready.
it, and I don't read it. And so we read it out loud because it is important that you know what you're signing up for. Okay? So, self-identification. People who come to the Peer Support and Wellness Center self-identify as being in recovery from mental health or mental health and addictive disease challenges. Okay. The next thing is the Peer Support and Wellness Center is a trauma-informed environment. Respectful behavior is expected from all who participate at the PSWC. Bullying, violence, weapons, self-injurious behavior, sexual behavior, touching without permission, begging, foul language, yelling, gossiping, preaching, or harassment is prohibited while on the premises. So we respect all persons regardless of race, religion, age, sexual orientation, ability levels, or national origin. We also respect confidentiality. What is said at the PSWC stays at the PSWC. Sound good?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. The next one says that the Peer Support and Wellness Center is about wellness, not illness. We're moving toward recovery from mental health and addictive disease challenges. Illegal drugs, alcohol, and pornography are prohibited while on the premises.
Okay.
Okay. The Peer Support and Wellness Center is a self-directed environment. Participants are 18 years or older and able to care for themselves. Participation is strictly voluntary. Transportation arrangements are initiated and arranged by individual peers. Participants make choices about which wellness activities they'd like to participate in. If a person chooses not to participate, they are free to leave the premises. Hanging out at the center is not permitted except on weekends. Computers can be used for up to...
Can I hang out on President's Day? Because it's a holiday.
Yeah. Generally, at least for some part of the day, there'll be a hangout time. Because we'll eat and, play Wii.
Oh, you got a Wii?
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, hanging out at the center is not permitted except on weekends and holidays. Computers can be used for up to 1 hour at a time between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Food and drinks are not allowed on the computer desk. Participants clean up after themselves in all areas of the house, including the smoking area, and they keep the premises free of trash. And lastly, the Peer Support and Wellness Center is a peaceful environment. We respect the house and the neighborhood. No unnecessary noise, radios, or televisions on the premises, and no loitering in the neighborhood. Participants cannot be dropped off and left stranded without an option to leave on their own. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Okay, last thing says, I understand the guidelines listed above and I agree to practice them while at the PSWRC. I understand that if I choose to ignore these guidelines, I'll be asked to leave the premises and may set an appointment to speak with the director before returning. Sounds good?
I agree wholeheartedly.
All right, perfect. So if you print here, sign, and date. And if you want to hang on to that copy, you're welcome to. Thank you. All right, so that is everything.
It's everything?
That's everything. If you bring back that ID tomorrow, that would be awesome.
I will.
And you're good to go. You're good to go.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. And if you want to hang around today and just, get a feel for the place, you are welcome to do that.
Even though it's not a holiday?
Even though it's not a holiday and even though it's not the weekend, it's your first day here and we want you, if you want, we'd love to have you just hang around and see how things are around here.
Yeah, can I hang around long enough to do a proactive interview?
Sure.
Because I want to come into Respite as soon as possible.
So, the order that we do the house tour in is something that is absolutely by design, okay? So when a person comes in, we want to welcome them, have them sign in, offer them a seat, and then, you'll grab the house tours registry or the soon-to-be model presentation registry, and you first want to ask them how did they hear about us, and there is this page, the house tour registry page, and you want to write, the date, the person's name, and it says referred by. That's just basically how they heard about us. And then it says contact sheet, and you put yes or no. So if they're a peer, we will do a tour for anybody. And so say somebody comes in and their case manager comes with them. The case manager is welcome to have a tour. But we wouldn't, because the case manager is not a peer and the case manager isn't coming for any of our services, then we would still put the case manager's name here as somebody we gave a tour to, but here where it says contact sheet, we would put no, because the person's not a peer. And so we'd go up to the point of showing them the house, and then they'd be done. But the peer, we do the whole process. And then that's it. You sign your initials over here. So something that's important about the house tour is that it's our first contact. And it is the opportunity to really start building a relationship. And when you're talking about IPS, it's all about connection when you're doing a house tour. And so you notice that it's more of a conversation. We're kind of getting to know each other. That's about building a connection. So then after you greet them, you write their name in the house tour registry, then you have the model introduction outline right here in front of you. And basically, as long as you go through and talk about everything that's here, because you have talking points, and as long as you cover these points, then you've done a model introduction. As you get more comfortable and you get more familiar, you'll add things in that aren't here. And a lot of what I said probably was stuff that's not here. But I did say everything that was here. And then just, kind of add it to it.
That's the minimum.
Right. And you don't have to feel until you're comfortable. Don't feel any kind of pressure to ad-lib or add a bunch of stuff. And in fact, for people who are very new, I would say stick as closely to this as possible, because there might be some things that you're not sure about. If it's something that you want to talk about in the model introduction, talk to your director and just be sure that what you're saying is accurate before you tell somebody something that's not here, okay? So they come in, we greet them, we have them sign in, we find out how they heard about us, and we list them here in the registry. Then the next thing is we go through and we do the actual model introduction. We hit all the talking points. Once that's done, then we show around the house, okay? And then the last thing that we do is the paperwork. And there's a reason for everything we do. So the last thing we do is the paperwork. And the reason for that is doing paperwork is pretty much a disconnect, And when you go into any doctor's office, what's the first thing that you do? Paperwork. They slide all of that stuff, give you 4 or 5 clipboards to fill out. It's a disconnect. And we want, first and foremost, to connect with our peers when they come through the door. We say we're an alternative, and it's those little subtle differences that on the surface you might not even think about, or you might not even consider. But when you add all of those things together, then you get something that's totally different than what anybody else is doing. And so that is the reason why we do it in the order that we do it, and that's why we want you to stick to that process.